What if that scraped knee, the one that taught you to be a bit more careful, never happened? What if that shiver down your spine in a dark alley just wasn't a thing anymore? Imagine a world with none of the challenges, none of the pain, none of the fear that's nudged humanity along. Sounds like paradise, right? But what if this perfect world has a shocking twist? What if, in a world without any suffering, human evolution grinds to a halt, or worse, veers off in a direction we truly don't expect? For ages, suffering, in all its not so fun forms, has been a powerful driver of change. Pain taught us to watch our step, fear kept our senses sharp, hardship pushed us to adapt, to get stronger, smarter, and way more resilient. Think about it. A predator's teeth and a deer's speed, both results of a long, tough evolutionary game. Predators, disease, the raw difficulty of surviving, these shaped complex life. Our ancestors who got good at dealing with all this, who learned to innovate and endure, are the ones who passed their strengths on to us. That's natural selection. Pretty much everything about us, from our immune systems to our complicated brains, has been molded by the need to overcome and survive. Okay, picture that utopia again. No more physical pain. Diseases? Zapped instantly. Resources? Endless. Fear? A forgotten word. So, what happens to our evolution? If you take away suffering, you're messing with the main engine of natural selection. It could be seriously weakened, maybe even switched off. If there's no constant threat, what traits would even be useful? Would our bodies, no longer needing to fight off germs or run from danger, start to change? Some scientists think that even now, human biological evolution has already hit the brakes, with culture doing most of the evolving. In a true paradise, this slowdown could turn into a full stop. That drive to become more complex might just fade away. Who knows, maybe we'd end up like some animals on isolated islands with no predators. We might even see ourselves becoming biologically simpler. Maybe we'd just evolve into really, really good couch potatoes. And it's not just our bodies, is it? Our minds are also shaped by struggle. Feelings like anxiety and fear, as uncomfortable as they are, probably evolved for good reasons. A bit of anxiety makes us pay attention. A healthy dose of fear stops us from doing something completely idiotic. Even sadness might have once helped us save energy. So, in a world without suffering, what happens to these mental nudges? Would we even want to do anything if there was no discomfort to avoid? If you never fail, how do you learn to bounce back? If you never lose anything, how do you truly get what value means? All those mental muscles we built up by tackling problems could just get weak. What sparks creativity if not the desire to make things better? Some thinkers believe a life with no challenges could lead to a deep, gnawing boredom, a kind of empty existence. Then there's society. So much of what we humans do, our art, our inventions, our explorations, even our ideas about justice, comes from wanting to overcome suffering, to make life better. If life is already perfect, what's our collective goal? What would push us forward? Imagine a world where words like courage, compassion, and resilience sound old-fashioned because the tough situations that made them meaningful are gone. Would we just become a species happy to passively enjoy everything, stuck in a kind of blissful standstill? Or, as some stories warn, could this lack of struggle have darker side effects? Maybe a society where people, having never faced real hardship, can't really understand each other or form deep bonds, the kind built when we go through tough times together. This whole idea of a future without struggles definitely makes you think about who we are and what really makes us human, doesn't it? What do you believe would happen? Could humanity truly flourish without suffering, or would we lose something vital? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you find these kinds of questions about our future fascinating, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss what we explore next. But here's where it gets really unsettling. The truly shocking truth might be that a world without suffering isn't the paradise we dream of, but more like a beautifully disguised trap. Evolution, at its core, is all about responding to pressure. Take away all the pressure, and the need to change, to grow, to become more just dissolves. Humanity's story up to now has been about overcoming. What if the real unexpected turn is that by getting rid of all our pains, we accidentally engineer our own stagnation? A slow fade into, well, into being pretty irrelevant. Or maybe, without external struggles, we'd turn our focus inward in some pretty unhealthy ways, creating new psychological or social problems.
With no outside monsters to fight, we might just create new ones out of sheer boredom, just to find some new artificial struggle. The thought of a world without any suffering is incredibly appealing. Yet, when you really unpack it, you find that struggle is tangled up in the very essence of who we are, biologically and psychologically. It's been the tool that shaped our resilience, our smarts, and maybe even our ability to feel deep joy, which often feels most intense when we have something to compare it to. While we absolutely should keep trying to reduce pointless suffering, maybe a complete lack of challenge isn't the ultimate prize. Maybe the journey itself, with all its bumps and bruises, is what truly defines us and keeps the human story going. Our future might not hinge on creating a perfectly painless world, but on how we keep learning, adapting, and finding meaning in the challenges that will always be part of life.